Yes, we are back with a bang. I hope that you missed us as much as we missed you, and I hope that you are well. I know that this time of the year, so many things are happening, okay? So many people are getting depressed, so many people are getting worked out, so many people are not extending grace to themselves. But I hope that you can be the wise one that can actually extend grace to yourself and just can tone down a bit and relax, and give more time to your relationship, give more time to your marriage, to your family, and enjoy. All right. So today we come back with a subject matter or a topic that is quite headache giving, that is breaking so many families, breaking so many marriages and relationships, and people just don't know how to handle it. There's a way they are just blanketing it around, and that is the issue of how do you handle a relationship or a marriage where your spouse has the opposite gender as best friends, okay? And sometimes it's not just one, but it is multiple, and sometimes it is just one best friend. For example, a husband has a woman friend that is his best friend, and your marriage or your bond has to coexist with a friend, or your wife has a best friend that is male. Definitely, I know that we are going to talk about one side more than the other, but it happens and it plays both sides. So I want us to be able to highlight that so that we can get a way forward and how to be able to handle that kind of dynamic.
The right word is we're going to be very fair, handle both sides,
Okay.
because we've had scenarios of best friends female, best friend men,
Yes.
or male,
Yes.
and either way it affects a relationship
It
or
does.
a marriage.
It does.
If it's a relationship that tends to end into a marriage with the hope of one day will be husband and wife, but you find yourself more in the company of the opposite sex
Who
that
is
you
a
call
friend.
your friends,
Yes.
or friend of friends, okay? Whether you like it or not, you create unhealthy competition for yourself or unhealthy competition for your partner.
For your partner, yeah.
That at a certain point, your partner will have to choose whether to stay in that thing
In limbo, eh?
or
Circle.
walk away. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, it's not bad to have friends, but it's a totally different thing when you idolize your friends.
Yes.
When you make your friends the center of your life, when you make your friends everything, and we have to seek permission
To be with you.
because you're friends.
Or to even have your attention.
So whether, as I said, whether it is in a relationship or it is in marriage, it is wrong, completely wrong.
Yeah. And this dynamic, I think when we were writing Tears on My Pillow, there's a chapter where I talked about the other, of course I was referring more to the women. You catered more to the men and I catered more to the women, and I was referring to the other woman, because most of the times it starts like a harmless thing, like any other friendship would start. But again, you never get to understand the kind of feelings you are creating in your partner. And sometimes, by the way, where the problem comes in and where resentment kicks in, because most of the times it flares up resentment after some time, because this person tends to think, okay, I thought it was just going to be a loose friendship. Before they know it, it is a very connected kind of friendship that these people are meeting every day and they are talking and they are chatting. And some of the people that we have met, some of them will tell you he chats with her until 2 a.m. in the night, or she chats with him until very late in the night. And you're like, okay, so you are with your spouse in a home and you're better, or you prefer chatting with an outsider than the person that you're actually in the house. So I think that the flaring of the resentment is what actually causes the problem over time. It starts as a normal thing, who is she? She's my friend. Who is he? He's my friend, and so before you know it, okay, you're seeing a few things. And I think I want us to highlight some of those few things that you must be able to look out for, because there will always be red flags. For example, there's a bit of secrecy. Whenever they are speaking things that they do not want you to hear. that means that there is something that is being hidden away from you. That means it ceases to be just a friendship, and there is something more to this friendship. And that is what sparks the resentment.
Exactly. One of the scenarios we had was about a trip. I remember that very well. And I personally had to try and fit in
the spouse's shoes,
the shoes
or the
of,
wife's shoes.
And I didn't want to be her for even a minute, because here is a time where husband and wife choose to go on a holiday, and then there's a friend in the picture.
A friend.
And then a friend who is not just a friend, but a friend who is taking 70%
of the
time for your holiday. Because my understanding and interpretation of a holiday is a getaway from every hassle, from every stress, from every pressure, from everything else. That's why we switch off the phones. What we want is me time, my time with my wife.
Reconnect.
My time to build everything else, and to try to tap into even resources. And the resources I'm talking about here are the physical. Physical to mean emotional availability, where I can look you in the eye without thinking about omwana. But that's why we leave the kids home.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
I want to look into the eye and ask you some questions, or try to preempt, tell you things that probably I've never had a time to tell you, and be able to be vulnerable because you're available. You are with me. You've given me your time. I've given you my time.
I'm here. I'm not anywhere else.
I'm not picking calls from my suppliers. I'm not taking calls from
business partners,
from URA or from anyone. I am not, and I don't care. At that point, I'm like, whatever that happens, I don't care. I've put everything on a stop just to be with you,
with my person.
And there is a friend
that is tailing around and is consuming more time. While you're in the supermarket, they are whispering.
I kept looking at this lady and I'm like, I don't want to be you. Not even for a minute. I don't want to be you. So this happens, like Hilda said, it starts as a normal friendship, but anything that you start has the ability to grow. Now, the bad in it must die and the good in it must grow. The good in it is healthy friendship, healthy relationships. In other words, when I need a friend and I'm rushing to the hospital and my husband is not around, he's there to be there with me. You understand that? And it does not have to be opposite sex. You can have a female can have a female friend. A male can have a male friend. And a male can have a female friend. And a female can have a male friend. But the issue here is, where is the healthiness in the relationship, or the people that we keep around us, in the times when we are faced with hardships, emergencies, tight, trying moments and trying times, and of course in the times of celebration. But none of the above replaces your place as my wife. Not even mukufirwa, not even mukulwaza. You understand? I can't come with my female friend while you are in the hospital and I'm seated with my female friend and we are having a chat here while we are taking care of you.
The thing is, most people are not that sensitive, because the people that have done some of those things, okay, they're like, but she's just insecure, you know, she's just insecure. But there's something that has stimulated that insecurity. Yes,
is what I talked about. The birth of insecurity is in grooming what you know is bad, allowing what is bad to grow. Eventually it becomes a trigger which causes insecurity. When you groom something, for example, I cannot go unless I first talk to so and so, or so and so can escort me. We don't have to pay for that place unless so and so comes to check it out. You remember some of those statements?
I know, yes. So no, someone could not even buy land.
What does so and so have to
like
do
they
with
decide
a house
everything.
gye tugenda okusulamu fembi.
Nedda,
Nze
even
naawe.
children's clothes.
Okay, let's go to the house. It is
Yeah.
a house that belongs to Mwami na Mukyala Sabiti. You understand?
And then someone is checking
what
it out.
Does Hilda's girlfriend have to do, or Hilda's boyfriend have to do with the house we're going to stay in together? If you're fronting your friend as a girl, then there's a problem already.
Yep.
Because you're allowing something unnatural, something wrong to grow.
That is
So
not
you're
supposed to
feeding it,
happen.
You're feeding it, you're giving it life, and it's just a matter of time that it will be a trigger to insecurity. So I'll be insecure about that friend of yours. Next time I'm trying to do something and you mention that person's name,
It will trigger.
I turn off.
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like, do I have to compete for attention
Yeah.
when it comes to you? That
For
your
authority?
your friend has to endorse what I'm supposed to be doing with you. And even in relationships, some of you, reason as to why up to now you've not been able to have a stable relationship is because everyone else, the so-called girlfriends, decide
For
the
you.
kind of man you're supposed to be with.
The kind
That
of car you
some
drive.
Some of the men that are a bit sensitive, when they see that, they run away. They don't want to be controlled. No,
That's
they don't
disrespect.
Want it. So I come into your space and I'm asking you for a dinner date, and then all of a sudden, the first time you show up with 3 of your girlfriends. Well, we have a dinner date. Of course, the dinner date is a waste to me because I want a time with you. But you've come with 3 of your friends that you interpret as katugende tukulabireko tulabe if you're having the right guy.
So
now,
that they can go back and
I have
backbite.
judges, and you expect me to be me when I have judges before me. I will buy them food. I will pretend that I'm smiling when I'm not. Next time, I will not. Next time, I will not. It is a red flag. It is
A huge one.
a huge one. We're going in an open place where there is everyone.
Come alone.
Give me my time with you. If you've come with your friends, leave them somewhere. Let them sit somewhere. And let
Unless
them
you
watch from a
say you
distance.
don't want me.
Don't introduce them now. I don't need to meet them right now. There is nothing that has been formulated as yet at this stage. I'm just getting to know you. How can I get to know you when I'm also getting to know 3 of your friends?
And that's where issues come in. Before you know it, he has the numbers for all of them.
And then he's cheating on you.
And then you say, I introduce, what do men want? You
Exactly.
came with
you came with 3, so you created competition for yourself. And I mentioned you've created competition for yourself. So in that, what are the chances that one of your friends will be more appealing?
Or more witty, or more charming, or more whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is. And
It is a dinner date. I want to know you. I want you to know
show
me.
up alone.
Come alone. If you must come with your friends, just let them watch from a distance. They can watch how I eat. They can judge
So that they
me
can
on,
go back and and talk about you.
Because in most cases they're the judges, and
They decide
it
for
feels
you.
like you've empowered them to decide whether I'm the right man for you.
What would you call that? But I also want to bring this in this aspect because as humans, I think God has created us as very wise beings. Yes, there are people that don't pick the cues, but do you know that when someone has a wrong friend, or it's just a name of a friend, but it is a thing that is not a friendship? Do you know that first time before even anything happens, you can pick up the signals?
Absolutely.
You can pick up, if there are people who are very discerning, and they can know that, by the way, this is trouble.
Yep.
He can deny all he wants. And just like, let's go back to the example of the hospital that you gave. When someone comes and all they're doing is being, for example, a handbag to a husband, and yet pretending to have come to see the woman. You get it? You came to see the woman. So sit at the woman's feet. Yeah, change her bed sheets. Pray for her. Talk to her. Don't leave her side. But if you must, he's going to buy food. Oh, you're also tying yourself, or you're becoming a handbag to go and buy food. Now let's go and do this. Can't he do it alone? Can't you do it alone?
And that's what I said.
So that is what sparks off that resentment that we talked about. Because then you're like, So this is exactly what's happening.
The healthy triggers to a friendship in such a scenario can be judged by some of the things that you've mentioned. It is a funeral. You have come on the side of You understand?
And all of a sudden.
Then give me space. Fit in. You understand?
Yeah.
Fit in. Find something to do. You're a friend. What you have come to do is to offer a hand, a helping hand. You're lending a hand. You're helping us. You're being there in time with us, not to come and be everywhere with my wife.
Yeah.
No.
Mbo mukubagiza nnyo.
Aha. You know, it
Gwe
can
mama
easily, it can easily
ng'okubagiza
be
nnyo.
misinterpreted.
Not even
Misunderstood. And everyone is watching and they're saying, everyone else is helping in the kitchen.
I know.
Others are helping with probably cleaning, you know, and everyone is taking care of something. But
and
there's
you are
this particular
friend.
person who does not get out of the car. Every time you're driving out together, coming back together, moving out together, coming back together. What's that?
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
So what you are doing is you are enabling a trigger that will cause the insecurity.
It's not even enabling. At this point, I want to
even if
differ
it was
from that.
Even if it was genuine, by the way.
There is no genuinity. There is always, let me tell you, I've told you, we are not ducks, we are not hens, and we are not goats. I think human beings have a brain that is so sharp that when a woman has a friend and this friendship has gone beyond friendship, by the way, and it's possible that the friend has slid into a very bad place, she knows. Even when a man has a friend and this friend has turned out to be something totally different without the intention of the man, because sometimes the intention is one-sided. And chances are, I will say 95%, the other friend will always develop feelings for the person. So whether you have, as a man, you have a friend who is a woman, she will always develop feelings and want to compete with the wife. And whether it's a woman, your boyfriend will always develop feelings. And that is where, if it's not feelings, it's usually sex and feelings, the worst version, and sometimes it is just the sex. That is why they usually say that as a man, when you have so many girlfriends, and I think it applies to both sides, when you have girlfriends around you, it's like you having a sugar cane and you are using it for a stick. Anytime
Can be eaten.
it can be eaten. You know? So that's where you have to be very careful. That is why we say that marriage is commitment. And commitment is sober-minded kind of commitment, where you choose and say, this is a slippery ground, and I don't think this is something that I would even want to start in the first place. And if I was the one that, yes, I have these people around me, can I know the boundaries?
Though I have a twist to it, Hilda. What happens to a guy, a male, or in that case a female, who's been raised in a family, for example, I come from a family of 5 girls and we're 2 boys, and we happen to be the last borns. I've only grown up seeing, you know, when you have 5 girls at home, you have 25 women around any day. So I grew up seeing only females until I really left home. Because remember that we are the last borns. I mean, I'm the last born, and then there's Frank, my brother. So in my world, I saw more female than male. So what are the chances that at a certain point, some males who've grown up
like that
in that kind of environment will find themselves more in the circle of females, of befriending more females than males?
That's very possible, but again, I will still say
and by the way, it's applicable even
on both sides. Yeah, it's
because
and
I've
actually
seen some
the
ladies
women
who have grown up,
say,
and they're more like tomboys from the way they dress, from the way they do everything. That really. But I will still tell you. I'll
still tell you. And this is not just to sound cynical, because I think there is a Luganda saying that say, what does it say? Kapa nebwege jetya? Or is it mese nebwege jetya or something like that? You get it. Because of proximity.
A lot is
because of proximity, a lot is prone to germinate and sprout up. Now, you have to be a person that is so sensible to be able to draw the demarcations. But even when you draw the demarcations, I will tell you, the so-called girlfriends will usually fall off. That is where, for some of the women, I usually tell them that, you know what, you ought to pray Because some of the boldness that your spouse needs actually is the God-induced kind of boldness to stand his ground and call a spade, and everything that was not supposed to linger him will fall off. You get it? Definitely prayer alone cannot work. You have to be the kind who does not mince your words. For example, when you see someone is going overboard, writing a text to you at midnight, and then all of a sudden you're like, let me respond to it. So that means you are sliding into a place that is actually inappropriate. And before you know it, the inappropriate has become inappropriate. It's very possible that you who grew up amongst women, you don't have any intentions. You have a clear heart. You are looking at them as your sisters, but it's possible that they have.
No, but the signal you keep sending
is being misinterpreted.
Yes.
And your availability
can be misleading.
No, look at this.
It can be misleading.
The same woman that you are hanging out with or you are being friends with, okay, is looking at you and is admiring. Have you seen the memes that are going around about, I think it's about Shiba, who saw a family and was like, I admired the family and I wanted to be part of the family. And now she's part of the family. I don't know how true that story is. I've not followed it. I've not followed it. But an outsider will look at your home, will look at your marriage, will look at your spouse, and will be like, and I don't know for whatever reasons. Okay? Married men will never have married women. There are very few who will have married women as friends. And even those married women will not be in real marriages. They will be in leaping marriages. The marriages and now they become the counselors to these marriages that are about to fall off the cliff as the saviors, but the saviors end up being the eaten.
Okay, so let's look at it.
You understand the dynamic?
I understand. So male or female, we agree here is it's possible that if you've grown up in that kind of environment,
you will attract female friends.
You'll probably attract more female friends.
Yes.
Problem is you must draw a line.
Very
demarcated. And I think I liked what you said, that while drawing this line, you must have the sense, at least, to know that I have a partner or I'm in a relationship.
Very sober.
And I must respect my partner and handle this with a sense of maturity, I would say. That's absolutely true. Now, let's again, I want to dig a little bit because it really helps so many couples who found themselves in this space. Let's talk about the love languages as well.
There's so many here.
The love languages as well. Think about someone who has that problem and his love language enables the same.
Go ahead.
Grown up, male or female, with the opposite, okay, and is more friendly with the opposite sex. And in this case, it might be one person or even more. Okay? And as we said, keeping around them, you're sending the wrong signal to them. You're enabling something. You're causing a
Some
reaction.
of them cannot even accept boyfriends.
You're accelerating something. And eventually it will grow. And once it grows, whether you like it or not, you will find yourself in a space you wouldn't want.
Yep.
So, thing is, I have someone like that, but at the same time, his love language also accelerates the same.
Now, with the love languages, I would want to understand: are they the real love languages of quality time, of something like that, of touch, of gifts and what? And you're saying that his love language,
yes, he already has the same problem. He has this problem: is he befriends the opposite sex, and he ends up every birthday he's sending a gift. For example, the gift type, you understand, and is touchy, you know, is lovey.
Quality time, eh?
You understand what I'm trying. So, in a way, his love language enables even the other
to misread into the situation.
Yes,
It's like leading them. But most of the times, the person actually knows what he's doing. Most of the time, the person knows what he's doing. Because, and you will see this, that the reason I will say that he knows what he is doing, or she knows what she is doing, you will find that he does not feel so much indebted to the spouse to extend the same favors. that means there are butterflies the other side.
More than here.
More than here. Because you are used to this person, you sleep with them, they are in your space. That means they cease to smell nice. They seem, as in everything seems to usual. The other one, you don't sleep with them. You know, they're not the ones, they don't see all the flaws. You get it? Now, it's very possible for you to idolize the good in the one that is outside, that you can forget your wife's birthday and remember your girlfriend's birthday. And all of a sudden, you worked out, and most of the time, they are very senseless that they will even say it in the wife's, and the reason as to why you will always know that there is something, because the name is the first will always to come. Because before you are there, Lillian said this, Lillian said that, or Joy said that, or Fatuma said that. Always the name will be the first signal.
Yeah.
And so, I want to buy. So you'll be like, and to the understanding wives, by the way, be like, so what kind of gift do you? Because ne gift na yo, ekuwayo. Because most of the times, you will always choose, when you care about someone, even how you gift them matters. So that's why I usually say, you already know, because if it were just friends, this happens to normal friends, platonic friendship. You'll be like, I forgot. Na yao njakuweka mobile money.
Okay, now,
you get it?
In that case, how do you help someone in that kind of situation?
Now, that person,
because it's a mix-up.
It's a mix-up.
It's a mix-up, and I usually say
and
that never take for granted how your subconscious has been built, because then you draw more from it than fix it.
That's true.
So some of us, I started by saying, I grew up with females.
Yeah.
But right now, my company is more in the
males.
males.
Yeah.
Okay? All my closest friends, all my top 3 friends
that was
are all
an
male.
Intentional time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That what I did was to deal with my subconscious and enable
to re-engineer it
and enable what I want.
That's true.
Now, very few have that capability. Very few are even aware. By the way, some are not even aware that it's happening.
And some are willing to even lose their homes. Like they will be so defending.
And that's why I'm saying, how do we help them? Because we've been in a session anyway when we were together, and the guy does not even seem to see it.
To see that there's a problem.
It feels like you're too sensitive, and you're not friendly, and you're too inconsiderate. I would think you should make friends. I would be comfortable seeing you with some friends. You think I don't want friends? You don't want my friends because you're just being insecure. And you could tell that to a certain degree, he's not even aware. There is lack of awareness that is actually killing his own home. He's losing his marriage. And he's so good with all these other things that the wife can testify to it. My husband,
he takes care of the home.
My husband is so good.
Yeah.
So good, but I feel like I'm losing him to the friends.
To the other person. And sometimes it's to a friend. There will always be one that is earmarked. The one that sounds more.
Though if it's a problem, if you track it, you'll find that there have been a series of friends.
Of course.
Female.
But still.
Not a particular one.
And this is
where there is a particular one, usually it's not the problem I'm talking about. No, it's just deliberate and intentional.
No,
but where there is a background, the one I'm talking about, there will be always series of friends, girlfriends.
But still,
from the girlfriends, there is always one who is more highlighted.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. Because most of the wives, you will find them. I know that there is Rose. I know that there is Kathy. I know that there is Molly, but Lillian seems to be an issue.
Yeah.
You get it? So in every season, such a person, in every season, there will always be. Because what happens is, as soon as he feels like he's going further than he wanted to be, he will cut back, the other person will misread it, and most of their relationships don't end well.
Yeah.
With such people. Like they break and become like enemies. Mind your business, I mind my business. That means it wasn't a friendship in the first place. It started as a friendship and it ended bad. And so they will pick up on another and they will pick up on another. You get it? So just like you said, the awareness that most of these people, if you don't get awareness when we are talking like this and we are saying it's not actually good, what your wife is complaining about
is real.
It's real.
It's
What
real.
your
It's pain.
husband is complaining about.
Yes, emotionally, she's dying.
Your husband might not throw tantrums.
Yeah.
Your husband might not shout like women shout. You get it. But
It will
when you
withdraw.
see him withdrawing and coiling back, you get it.
You've enabled it.
You've enabled it,
Yeah.
and you are bringing up, nurturing a monster that you will never be able to tear down.
That's true.
It's a seed, and now it's growing into a tree, and that is where most people have said she started it. You get it? She started it. I also looked for a way
Now,
to
I'm
survive.
going to give you another cat twist again.
A way to survive.
Another
So
cat twist.
if you don't get it, maybe you bring it before we go into how to help such people.
Yes, I know that's where we're going, because I want to give you another cat twist. Same sex schools. Girls' schools.
Oh my God.
Boys'
And
school.
let me tell you, now that's us.
Now, let me tell you, Hilda.
That is sticking to the wall. That is sticking to the wall.
Have competition coming from an
Another
opposite
gender.
sex
Yes.
than same sex.
Ooh. Let that sink in. Because most of the times you are in the dark. You don't know exactly, but just like I told you, if you have discernment, you will always sense that there is more to this friendship. Because how comes a girl will become jealous of the relationship? You get it? How comes a girl will start attacking your boyfriend? So if the boyfriend is dumb to think, oh, it's just a girl that is trying to look out for. No, you will know that this is actually a romantic relationship, and this person wants to be normal to date a boyfriend or a man, but the girls are not having it. They're like, you know what? Tugenda bikusuza. You're not going to date the man.
And as I said, you'd rather have competition coming from opposite
Another gender.
yes.
Because then you know what you're dealing with.
Yes, than same.
Because these ones, when they come, they sleep in the same room.
Because even with us men,
Oof.
it's a real issue.
That's true.
It's a big issue. Most of them is because of the background of same-sex schools.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to decampaign same-sex schools.
Yeah.
But there's quite a danger that you as a parent should be aware of.
They have double
and
relationships.
try to help your children. Try to help them.
Parents are enabling it with sleepovers.
Yep.
Yep. So the child comes, and because they are same sex, you're like, there's nothing wrong that can happen. But you cannot let a boy and a girl in the same room, with a closed door. But because they are both boys, then you have nothing to do. And before you know it, they even place a kazito, but why aren't you dating? Then he gets a girlfriend. But every time he's in the company of this boy, and this boy is decampaigning, you can actually see that when the girl walks in, wayangazisala.
Yep.
And you're like, you can't see that there is a problem?
Okay, now let's
I
go
think
into
we really need
Let's go into the
we
helping
really need,
part.
and that is happening a lot. But if you can't get help from such open sessions, okay, that you can pick on the signal and say, like, what I am doing is actually wrong, okay? My number one in my life should be my husband. My number one in my life should be, as in, no one should take the place of my wife. No one should take the place of my husband, period. We are not saying having a friend is bad, but you must be able to be very respectful about your union and about your because then the next thing for me, I would go to, me, I will always flip to the other side.
Okay.
I always go to fine-tuning the partner that is feeling this is unfair treatment. Because why does resentment come? Because of unfair treatment. And unfair treatment comes when you highlight some of the three areas, one of them being that I have articulated that this does not sit well with me, but you have continuously done it. You get it? I have told you that I do not want to hear that name again. I have told you that I am not pleased with that friendship, and I don't think that is a friendship that is worth having. And I don't think, do you want me to get to a time where I'm giving you ultimatums that choose between me and so and so? You get it? I have articulated. So most of the people, the reason as to why they will go overboard in their resentment is I have said it. And most of the times, the men in these kind of scenarios will want to be like the dominant ones, and so you have nothing that you're telling me. You're just a woman, so remain in your position. What don't you have? Aren't you eating? Aren't you sleeping? Aren't you get it?
As though that's enough.
As if that is enough, and that is enough, not enough. So where I say I flip to the other side is to fine tune, like the person that you talked about, the one that is the one that, let's talk about the hospital thing first. And okay, she's becoming a handbag, and she has not come to see you, and maybe when she wants to see you, okay, she goes through the husband, okay, and she's pretending to be a friend to both, but she's actually being a friend too. So one thing you do is you lock up your home. You're like, you can't come home.
Yeah, no.
You can't. So that, as in, you do not enable this mask.
Okay, if I'm getting it, then you have to send the message should be very, very, very
because
clear.
The husband is going to be in this scenario. I'm talking about the side of the husband.
Okay, so here is a situation. You've seen something like this happening between your spouse and a so-called friend.
Yes.
And you feel offended.
Yes.
And you don't want to take it anymore.
Yes.
You speak directly to it.
Yes.
You tell them, I don't like the fact that you're hanging out with him. He is my husband. Give us some space.
You speak to because it's your husband. First, mind your person.
Okay, so
speak to the husband, but the husband will always be stubborn.
So let's go back a little bit. I wanted to emphasize something before I forget. If it's in a relationship and you see this on the list of the things that you should be looking out for, most especially you is dating right now, on the list of things, just like you put, I want a godly man, a God-fearing man, I want this, add friends. I want us to talk about our friends. Talk about your friends, so that so that when you talk about your friends, and you know, some of you guys, when you go out to talk about the future or what you call the dating, you are not serious about it. You're just laughing, smiling through the session. But it is real, as real as real can be.
It's deep.
That I would encourage you looking into your partner's eyes and say, I've told you I have 10 friends.
I have so-and-so.
Yes.
So-and-so.
And don't expect a surprise of another friend. Just like we'll talk about our dating life. You're like, I've been in a relationship. Or I've been in 3 or 4 relationships. And you also talk about your relationships. So even friends should come in at that point. So that there's no room for surprises. You're like, I have 5 friends. I have so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. And then she also tells you about her friends. And then we agree on how to continue with our friends. Family time is family time. I don't expect your friends to be more important than me. Much as I found you with them, when I come into your life, everything changes. Same, I'll want to prioritize you now that you are in my life. Much as some of them are my friends from primary school, secondary school, and through university. When you come into my life, you take that place. So you first, then my friends can come. In other words, I cannot trade the places. So these are some of the things that I would encourage everyone in a relationship. And this show is not more about the marriage. It's more about you who's about to get there. Because some of the mistakes that we have made in our marriages,
they're made there.
They were made in our dating time, in our relationship time. And that's why we're paying a very steep price right now. So learn from us so that you don't do these mistakes. Be very crystal clear about this. Same like we've talked about your faith.
Yeah.
I've had so many people come for counseling, and the woman says, he promised me he will never, much as is Muslim, he promised me that he will never marry get another woman. And right now, as we speak, there's a woman. And we usually tell them, expect even a third and a fourth.
Yeah. This is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
That's who they are.
Exactly.
So they can't promise otherwise.
So just like we talk about all these other things, let's talk about this thing called friends.
Let me throw in something there. That be willing to talk about it in a sane way. Be willing to be very crystal clear, okay? But be willing to be tough when someone gets stubborn. Okay? And then, that means you are crystal clear and sane. You are tough to put down your foot and speak up for yourself and how you feel. And number 3, be willing to lose them. If they continue to be stubborn, be willing to lose them.
Yeah, you'd rather lose them while
still
in a relationship
and be healthy instead of having a mental breakdown in a marriage or a relationship where someone categorizes or prioritizes another person, and you can see it.
Yeah.
Is it because you are dumb? Is it because you have nowhere else to go? Is it because, and you are crying about the same thing year in, year out, 10 years, 20 years, you're crying about the same thing? Who is the fool here?
I know.
You are the fool.
Yep.
So be sane and crystal clear. Be willing to stand up for yourself and put your foot down and say, this is not going to happen under my watch. And if they continue to do it because the resentment is growing, that means that love is shrinking and the resentment is actually growing up. So be willing to lose them and tell them, I will leave you with Hadija. If this, sometimes, by the way, ate woko wolusi toyogera na kwogera. Omugamba ani akunyumidde? Lydia yakunyumidde? Yaga katika afukemu mama w'abaana. And you turn around. You choose yourself. You cannot stay in hell for the rest of your life because you want the idea of marriage or the idea of relationship so much and you're holding on for dear life while the other person, and by the way, even if it's a woman, twist it the other side, while the other person is chechiri chewagamba ntoyo no mama w'abaana bange oyo no mama w'abaana bange ngakole bitajja. Be willing to lose her.
And you know, some of these things, much as we laugh through these sessions where serious. We are talking about, they are very serious.
Very serious, very
some
painful.
Some people have killed.
Yeah.
People have, because it's one thing that leads to another. It's this woman who feels the resentment, or it's the man feeling the resentment, and all of a sudden the friend has become so strong that they feel they are losing you over to their friend, and it's like, if I lose you,
no one can have you.
No one can have you.
I've had such scenarios.
That's how people have been very suicidal.
Yes.
Very suicidal in their homes.
To the point of even killing other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very suicidal. So,
even
don't take
children.
This for granted.
You've seen people kill children.
No, this is what they do. Will poison the kids, poison himself and the man, and then herself and the man, and then they all go. So, these things look like they are small, but you know, the Bible says, it's very crystal clear, love is as strong as death.
Yeah.
That the equivalent of love is death itself.
Yeah.
That at a certain point, people emotionally are so entangled that death is as easy as... They can't reason, what remains is just room for regrets.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true.
So, while we are talking about this, and I'm telling you, the young men and the young women out there, if you see tight competition of friendship in a relationship, give it time. Give it time. Because, trust me, if they're adamant to see it while you are still in a relationship, and they can tell you, I have to talk to so and so to see if we can still go for this trip. So and so has to come with us if you are going for that trip. So and so said her birthday party is next week, so I don't think I can go because I have to first attend the birthday party. And her friend has a wedding that is happening next week, and she invited me and says I have to be there with them. There is no way I can.
There is always an excuse. Always an excuse.
Someone has been prioritized over you. Don't be a fool.
And sometimes they usually have problems.
Don't be a fool.
They usually have problems and they are calling you all the time.
Don't be a fool to think. Don't be a fool to think that if they have showed it to you in a relationship, they will change in a marriage.
It will triple.
So you might be so quick to put a ring on that girl, but this ring is called commitment.
Yeah.
And there is no commitment in that. Yeah. If I cannot commit to you in simple things while we are still dating,
it's
how much more when we are married? So this will be a lie. It will be just a celebration and a party.
Yeah.
After that, we'll take separate ways. You understand?
And so much of that is happening now.
I look at all of that and I'm like, don't feed it. It will come back for you. Shaken together, overflowing, and it will finish you.
And there are so many
signals, whatever that you can see right now, most especially when it comes to that area of friendship, and you are like, if they are prioritizing, if she's prioritizing or he is prioritizing the friends more than me, and is not willing to see it, is not willing to change now.
One failed to pick up the wife from the village and picked up the, the
happens.
so-called girlfriend. And some of these things, they will always, the other person will always know. The other person will always know. They will always figure it out, And when the other person is seeking to do a competition, whether it's the man the man that is seeking to do competition or the lady, they will always send heavy signals to show you that I also mean something to this person's life. You've seen people quarrel about earrings staying in cars, and every time whose earring, they mention the same person. Ye mama gundi yaleko wokumatu yego otwalako buli lunaku. You get it, and you see people fighting about silly fights. I call them silly fights, and that means we need to add value and honor to ourselves, because as much as you can only be honored as much as you honor yourself. So now I'm talking to the person that is being offended. We can only be honored as much as we honor ourselves. Let's honor ourselves. But let's also learn to seek for guidance.
Now, these are some of the things that probably you try to address them, that most men feel, most especially when they find themselves in such scenarios, they feel like the woman wants a lot of control.
Yeah.
Most men will feel like I'm giving the woman a lot of charge over my life and a lot of control over my life, and I don't feel comfortable being in that kind of position. So I want us to address that, because it's really key.
Yeah.
That and again,
for
a fact, there are some women who want control.
That is bad.
And
that is bad.
So when they want control, they actually fail to pick the most important things from
the important things.
You understand?
And that's true.
So what they do is that they dwell almost on everything.
And Gamba, they will want to control the whole spectrum.
And the guy is just saying, come on. Like, really?
A woman who seeks to control.
So I want us to address a bit about the control.
Yeah. A woman who seeks to control will seek to control every spectrum of your life. They will want to control in finances. They will not want to control one area of your life. Though the people that will want to control an area of your life are the people that have an attachment style of where they lack confidence and low self-esteem. You get it? Those ones will show you that they want to control you in one area of your life. But I will still say this on the flip side, that as a man, even a woman, if you didn't want any control over your life, if you're still single, stay single.
But then,
okay, before we go to the extreme, because there are those who go extreme, wanting to control. But there should be a certain level of belongingness, not control.
Control is wrong. I would think
belongingness
or sense of accountability.
Sense of accountability.
Accountable
That's what I'm
to each
talking
other.
about.
If you're saying that he does not want to be accountable, or she doesn't want to be accountable
stay
to
single.
me. Exactly.
Stay single.
But control, to me,
control is extreme. Control is
whichever
extreme.
form of control, no one would want to
because
feel like.
Because control is more like manipulation and someone giving you orders, and you must be able to heed to the orders. And now that is totally but because even when as a woman you are standing your ground, you're not expected to control. You're not expected to say this or that, or if it can't happen like this and it will never happen like that. You get it?
By the way, controlling a woman who is controlling is more subtle. More subtle, but very manipulative.
And
she does not have to say it for you to know it.
And sometimes they will even tell other people.
And if you find a woman who is that kind of woman you were talking about, is the easiest to deal with. Because all that she needs is sense of accountability.
Them.
No, accountability. You've come back at 2. What happened? I kept calling you. Your phones were off. I sent you messages. They were not read or responded to. I was worried. Are you okay? That is not control. I would think she's only being responsible, and she's
over you.
What she wants is a sense of accountability,
and that's what I meant when I said.
Yes. But
if
the
you get into a marriage,
the controlling woman, the controlling woman may not even say a word.
And a controlling woman will be spread, because they will even seek to control how much you contribute to your own home or to your own people. They will want to poke their nose in everything that you are doing. And just like you said, some of the control, you'll never see it coming because they will be very manipulative.
Very manipulative. They are subtle and manipulative. They don't scream and they don't shout, but they know which trigger to press. And as I said, most men at that point,
they switch off.
They switch off because feels like,
and they will do it deliberately.
Are you sending me to that place of asking myself why I married you? You get the point? Because if it was a confrontation where there is an issue, let's talk about it. Because then that's dialogue. You're reasoning, I'm reasoning, and we're getting a solution for this. But where I hear it somewhere else, at my workplace, that you were actually the FBI.
Yeah, you're being investigating.
Because that's how they do it.
Investigating.
She's investigating you.
Yeah.
You understand that she's causing abantu okwekuba obwama at
your
your
family,
workplace about you.
Yeah, your friends.
And you don't even know about it. And then when she comes home, she's smiling.
You're like, who are you?
And you're like, who
What are you up to?
are you? How could you go past me, Monju, and you have this kind of discussion with my boss? You understand that? Now that is
another
that
level.
is the controlling I'm talking about, which is as dangerous as the word itself.
Yeah.
Because if you were doubting my salary,
Talk to me.
let's fight over this together. But you overstepped when
If
you
you're
went to
doubting my
boss.
friendship,
And then
don't call my mother.
And then, that's the other. That's the other. You know, she will have a discussion with your mother or with your brother, for that sake. And your brother is like,
The whole family is having a
what
meeting.
I have known about Hilda, it's always been different. Why would Tim come and have this kind of discussion with me? I've never known
It
my
raises
sister for
eyebrows.
this. You understand, eh?
Yeah.
And then you're putting everyone in a place they don't want to be, because they're like, now, how do I even start having this discussion with her? How do I even bring this to her attention? Because she'll wonder. Then all of a sudden, because, like, oh, why? Kangezeko. All of a sudden, the guy is like, you are serious? Tim came and had this discussion with you. You serious? And yes. The only question,
Why
Muli
did they?
bulungi. Muli bulungi. Now, the kind of control is the one I'm talking about.
Which is what?
It is subtle, but it's very toxic.
It
is not the kind where there is a bit of aggressiveness, because I like those conversations, heated up arguments, discussions, or
And do you know the response?
disagreements.
Do you know the response? Most of the men will be like, agamba asaza okwogera nabo kale bamubalire ekizibu.
Anti ngamba, because
Bamubalire
now
ekizibu.
it's like if you would really want to control me, and you think you can use
Everyone
external
around
influence,
Then let
to
them
cause
help
control,
you.
let them go ahead and do it. Some of them will go ahead and have discussions even at school. Abana gye basomera.
Wow.
So what
Then
you're trying to do
that is below the
control.
belt.
Yeah, you want control, but I think you're overdoing it. So in that case,
But I want the men to look
In
at
that-
the good women, okay,
Yes.
and know, because most of them, I will say 80% of men read accountability as control. Now, I also want us to get that right. Most of the men, 80% of men read accountability as control. That means you have never seen a controlling woman. Because the day you will see a controlling woman, then you will be so thankful about the one that is keeping you accountable, because they want this marriage
with
to
a
work.
controlling
And
woman,
it's-
even
yeah.
the day you die, you will not know, because she's still smiling. They are that dangerous.
They sneak up on
There's
you.
a country I visited, and there was a long line of widows.
A long line of widows.
Yes. And I asked, why is this particular tribe?
Oh, yes. I remember you told me.
You
Yeah.
understand? It was in one of the countries in our neighborhood. So
Yeah.
I asked why, and they said,
And mostly women
when
in
it comes
power.
to control, they come number one. They cannot share the place of control with a man.
anyone.
So they kill their men.
Wow. Okay, guys, we have to get out of here.
So as we
here.
wind up, be sharp, be wise.
Yeah.
To understand when a woman comes and seeks you audience, she's not disrespecting you. She's pouring her heart
She
out.
wants to
What she wants
understand.
is just accountability. You'd rather engage her and have a discussion with her.
Never prioritize
Yes.
another person.
Exactly. Then
Never
when it comes
prioritize
to
another person.
friendship, the reason as to why the Bible is very clear. Now I'll speak on the side of men. The Bible says, and shall leave mother, father, and be joined to.
Yeah.
Now you realize the reason as to why in our cultures, and this is very important by the way, in our cultures, the reason as to why it is you, the man, who goes to visit, most especially here in Central, is you're being born in that family. It's not the woman who is living, you are the one who is living as a man. You're living your
To go and cleave.
And so when you live and start a home as a man, okay, much as ozimba chikacho, okay, much as ozimba chikacho, naye ozalidwa in the other home,
Yeah.
where your woman comes from, as in you are now a son in that home. You understand? So that home has trusted you with their daughter,
How welcomed
and they
you.
don't expect their daughter to go back.
With
Much as I have
tears.
heard, I don't know whether you've ever heard this saying, that dear girls, it's better to go home, return home from a failed marriage than return in a what?
In a coffin.
In a coffin.
I concur with that.
And the first time I read that,
100%.
it troubled me a bit, but then I was like,
100%.
this must have been a tata
Yeah. Very concerned.
who was concerned about her daughter.
In as much as I want you to be there, Tewali
sagala
abukutuma.
bakuddizemu coffin.
Tewali
Yangu.
abukutuma.
So you, a man, and this is a message to a fellow man, you were born in that home. That's why they call you a son in that home.
Yeah.
And then someone has entrusted you with their daughter that they have raised and given her to you. Okay.
If you think she's not good,
and God,
return her.
And God expects you. Now this is very important. God expects you that wava ewa kitaawo n'ogenda n'ozaalibwa olina ky'otandise Katonda kyawa omukisa, and that's what the Bible says, okay, that you receive favor from God. Why? Because there's a human being that has been entrusted in your favor to take charge and responsibility. That's why in heaven, before they ask you about children, they will ask you about your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so love this woman. Listen
Cherish
to
her.
At least, if life is miserable everywhere,
Give her her rightful
if life
position.
is failing everywhere, you know how we face
The storms of the
all
world.
the storms of this world.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have everyone expecting from you,
Yeah.
at least go and receive love from home.
Yeah.
When the world ekuyuza, one is taking the hand, another one is taking the leg,
Go and rest.
at least go back home
Find
to a
peace.
loving family.
Yeah.
And if the devil succeeds at stealing the peace from the home, then he has finished you.
I know.
Because everything else,
You have nothing to run back to.
everything else,
No shelter.
everything else. Think about everything else that we do. You understand? It is nonsense
Yeah.
if there is no peace at home.
That's true.
Go back home. Make peace. Go back to your wife. Go back to your children
Look
and
high in
tell
the
them,
eye, yeah.
everywhere else I'm a king. Everywhere else I'm a loser. Everywhere else I'm everything that the world has baptized me. But here at home, I want to be a husband.
Yeah.
I want to be a father.
Yeah.
I want to be loved.
I want to be your friend.
I want to belong.
Yeah.
I want to be here.
Yeah. To love and to hold.
Yep.
Till death do you part. All right, guys, bless you. In case you need any kind of help, in case you have questions, please do not hesitate. The numbers are on the screen, and for those of you that are on YouTube, still will include the numbers on the screen, so you are able to call, you are able to schedule for sessions, you're able to invite us into your churches, into your sanctuaries, where you have this hard talk. You know, we need to have this uncomfortable talk so that we can make marriages flourish and thrive again. We love you. Bless you.